Thinking of buying property in Dubai? Hold on. Before you sign anything or send a single dirham, watch this. I've seen too many people making avoidable mistakes when buying property in Dubai, and in this video I'm breaking down the most common and dangerous mistakes that buyers and investors make in Dubai real estate. Some of these may seem small, but they can cost you thousands. Even your entire investment if you're not careful. I'll share honest examples, real stories, and how to avoid every trap. So like the video, subscribe if you want to invest smarter in Dubai, and let's get straight into it. Mistake number 1, buying without enough market research. Many people jump into Dubai real estate without even understanding how this market works. Someone buys in an upcoming area just because of the sales hype. 3 years later, no infrastructure, no foot traffic, and no resale interest. That's when you get stuck. So how to avoid this? First of all, study the price per square foot on the neighborhood that you are interested in. Compare the rental yields and the demand in that area by just looking at DXB Interact past transactional sales and past transactions for the rental. Of course, also research the developer's track record and the historical data for their handovers if that is an off-plan. Mistake number 2 is ignoring the legal framework. We all know that Dubai's legal system is investor-friendly. But if you don't know the actual laws, you're becoming vulnerable. And there are so many examples to this. A buyer was thinking he was purchasing in a freehold zone, placed down the deposit to later find out that this was an actual leasehold, which restricts sales and inheritance. Another client of mine was looking at a very good deal, very attractive, but later when we were reviewing together the SPA, we found out that that developer wasn't actually allowing for any kind of rentals there except the ones provided by the developer's own property management. So how to avoid this mistake? First of all, always check if the property is freehold or leasehold. Register all the deals through the actual Dubai Land Department. And of course, work with a property lawyer or advisor before signing anything because the deals sometimes might get complicated and you would really feel better and more safe in the hands of someone who's done it many, many times. Mistake number 3 is underestimating the total costs. The purchase price isn't just the start. Many buyers are blindsided by all the extras. As an example, someone may look at a property priced at 1 million dirhams and see also the rental that is going for around, let's say, 90,000 dirhams per year, and they might think that this is 9% ROI. But that is not actually true, because besides the maintenance fees that this person will pay throughout the year as the landlord, there are DLD fees of 4%, commission to the agencies, furnishing, and many, many other things besides the day-to-day maintenance that also adds up and makes the ROI much lower. So how to avoid this mistake? Always look at the SPA, read the actual breakdown of all your costs. And of course, I'm mainly speaking now to people who don't really know the market here. So foreigners specifically, if you are looking at investing in Dubai, then make sure you ask the agent or the developer to give you a proper breakdown of all the costs that are involved with your purchase. Mistake number 4, and this is a serious one. Transferring money to agents' personal accounts. This one is dangerous, and yes, it still happens a lot. A client I worked with in the past was really excited about this property investment and didn't really consider all this kind of extra mistakes and risks, so he sent the full amount of the deposit directly to the agent's own personal account instead of the agency's official account or just an escrow account. Well, guess what? The agent left the country. Luckily, we were able to recover everything with compensation through some extra pushing and even legal action, but not everyone's that lucky. So how to avoid this mistake? Obviously, never send money to anyone personally. Always verify the transfer details with DLD, with the developer, or with the agency as a whole. Use official escrow accounts and most importantly, get receipts for every transfer. Mistake number 5 is skipping proper property inspections. Looks can be deceiving. Not checking the condition of a unit, whether that's off-plan or ready, can lead to some negative surprises at the handover stage. For example, a buyer might sign the agreement quickly and later discover that there are serious AC and plumbing issues with the apartment that already could have been fixed by the previous landlord. You can avoid this pretty easily by just hiring a proper professional snagging team. For off-plan, ask for real handover footage, not just the renders. And most importantly, don't accept the handover if all the issues aren't cleared yet. And make sure you document them very well so that later you are not told that that's not their problem anymore. Mistake number 6 is falling for too good to be true deals. Scams are alive, especially here, and especially when it looks too good to be true. Or simply it just looks too cheap. For example, there are so many listings advertised in Business Bay for 25 to 30% below the actual market rate. Well, guess what? Those listings are fake. The photos were real, but the actual listing didn't exist. And in such cases, buyers can lose their deposits if they put something down for those kind of listings. So how to avoid this? Well, use the help of RERA agents, officially registered agents that can help you see the unit and also answer at all your questions that you may have. Double check the listings on the DLD Rests app and never pay anything without signed MOUs, which stands for Memorandum of Understanding or other legal documents. Mistake number 7, it's not securing mortgage pre-approval. Without a pre-approval, you're just window shopping, and you risk missing out on some sweet deals. A simple example, a buyer might make an offer to a unit to later find out that the bank rejected their approval for this mortgage. And that buyer will simply lose this deal last minute just because he didn't do the mortgage pre-approval. So make sure you get pre-approved before you start viewing. That will enable you to understand what's your actual budget, what are your monthly expected EMIs, and most importantly, what are the down payments requirements. Mistake number 8 is ignoring the market timing and fluctuations. Many markets around the world have different cycles, and Dubai is no different. Buying at the wrong time or without a strategy can kill your ROI, and while not many know the right time, you still have to understand all the other aspects before getting in. For example, buyers in 2014 had to wait around 6 to 7 years to just break even on their properties. So how to avoid this? Well, don't rely on hype, study the current market demand and supply trends. Think long-term, that's a big one, especially for off-plans. And if you have a bigger budget, diversify while you can. But many buyers overcommit and end up struggling with their payment plans. This one is actually pretty easy to avoid. Just ask yourself what you can actually afford. Be realistic about your monthly cash flow. Are you gonna be able to cover all those payments, considering some extra emergency? Don't take more than one property unless you have some proper backup liquidity. And remember, missed installments can cancel your contract and you might even lose the property. Mistake number 10. And this is a new one, but it's important to know that buying offices as investment properties is not always the right thing. Commercial units may look attractive, but they're much, much harder to rent or sell. It takes time for companies to set up, and you may end up with a property that is vacant and doesn't have any interest just because there are not as many companies that can afford to pay that rental. Plus, no one's really flipping the commercial space here in Dubai, so you, besides not having any rental yield, you won't really see any capital appreciation. So how to avoid this mistake? Stick with residential units unless you have a tenant secured for a potential commercial unit. Know that commercial units are first to crash and last to recover, especially with everything that's going on in the world globally, with tariffs being high, with many companies struggling with their budgets. There might be some that are canceling their relocation plans, for example, so then you would expect delays in actually renting those units to potential renters that you expected to have during those periods of time, because opening a company for them takes a lot of time and costs. Finally, mistake number 11 is buying a hotel apartment. Hotel-style units often come with very poor returns and long-term locked-in contracts. So what do I mean by this? For example, a buyer buys into a branded hotel apartment in downtown Dubai, only to then realize he cannot set his own rent, cannot list it on Airbnb, and has no control whatsoever over the listing, and no control over any kind of property management. Most of these hotel apartments, they are actually serviced only by the internal property management teams. They would take a pretty big percentage of the revenues from you. I know some take up to 50 and even more %, which means that the resale value will definitely go down, and it's going to be super difficult for you to have any capital appreciation whatsoever. Most probably you will actually lose on this deal. So avoid the hotels that tie into hotel property management schemes. Look for flexibility in leasing and resale, and focus on freehold residential, not hospitality. Finally, a bonus tip: don't rely only on agents for advice. While there are many amazing agents, they are paid for the sale and not for your success. Some are excellent, but just don't stop at one opinion. Ask around. And I'm not even talking about asking someone in the legal field. Just ask more agents. Request actual data, past sales, occupancy rates, and ROI if those properties are actually built and ready. And of course, talk to real investors, people who've been through it and have seen the dips and the ups. Dubai real estate has amazing potential, but only if you play it smart. Avoiding these common mistakes can save you time, money, and years of stress. If you found value in this video, drop a like, subscribe, and comment below. Which of these mistakes do you think is the most common one in Dubai? And which of those have you actually heard about, maybe from your own experiences or from connections and friends? Drop all your thoughts below and let's have a meaningful discussion about this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.